Joined now by Anne Fitzgerald. She's the director of the Balsillie School of International Affairs in Canada and was a senior security and justice advisor to the UK government on the Horn of Africa. Welcome to the program, Anne. Could you remind us of how we got to this point? Why did fighting break out between Tigrayan rebels and government forces in the first place?
Well, I think that dates back to the November 3rd attack on the Northern Command, which resulted in fighting between the two groups, the fighting that has carried on in various shapes and forms for the past 8 months, fighting which has seen no clear sense of resolution. And as the international community has waited and watched, we have not known what the next step will be. We've seen relatively peaceful elections that have involved a great majority of the population take place recently, but still no resolution to the crisis in Tigray. We see a lot of humanitarian support, support by the Ethiopian government and the Ethiopian people, as well as some members of the international community. But again, I think the critical question is, what is the end state? What is the end objective? What is the objective for the Tplf? What is the desired objective for the Tigrayan people? And what are we likely to see in the coming months, especially based on developments today?
That's right, and let's look at those significant developments, because the Ethiopian government has declared this ceasefire as the regional capital Mekelle was captured by Tigrayan fighters. Is this declaration of a ceasefire a sign of a defeat?
Well, ceasefire declarations are usually not a sign of a defeat. They come in different shapes and forms. Most ceasefires, desirable ceasefires, are bilateral ones where both countries agree on the cessation of hostilities. This is more of a unilateral humanitarian ceasefire. So a ceasefire that has declared a cessation of hostilities on the part of one of the warring factions, so their agreement to do so becomes binding. And normally, unilateral ceasefires seek to encourage the other warring combative party to move to a state of moral parity with the one that's declared the unilateral ceasefire. But based on the text that the government has issued, it seems as though this unilateral ceasefire is to facilitate access, to facilitate agricultural support to the Tigrayan communities, communities that have lived through a number of hardships, especially through the last harvest season, where desert locust swarms really impacted on the growth. Tigrayan communities that require not just food supplies to get through, but non-food supplies as well. So this is not a ceasefire text, a typical ceasefire text that's calling for encouraging the other combative side to come to the table. It's encouraging facilitation and access to different activities that are humanitarian in nature.
Okay, Anne Fitzgerald from the Balsillie School of International Affairs. We do appreciate your analysis. Thank you so much again for joining us on TRT World.